All right. Good evening, everyone. We are going to get started. Thank you for joining us live tonight. And if you're watching the recording, thank you for watching. So, each month we try to do a hot topic for parents. And we wanted to start with one of the probably the more frequently asked questions about communication. So there's a big difference between elementary school and middle school. So I see a lot of sixth grade parents. So thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to walk through a few things. And so our objectives tonight will be to improve, of course, our communication between parents and teachers. We're going to discuss some of the methods to do that. Ms. Hyman's going to go through Google Classroom as a parent. So what can you see on Google Classroom and how can you help your student manage their Google Classroom? We're also going to have Ms. Phillips discuss Parent Portal, Infinite Campus, but you guys probably call it Parent Portal more often. Miss Daniel is going to go through the Remind app, our Remind messaging. And then Mr. Owens is going to talk a little bit about the chain of command and the fastest ways to reach and get information from teachers and people in the office. So again, thank you for joining. I am Tiffany Weaver. We have not met. I'm the principal at Mason Creek, and I'm excited that you guys are here tonight. So first up is Miss Hyman. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Hyman.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Heineman. I teach 8th grade Georgia Studies currently. Last year, I taught 7th grade World Geography. But I've been at Mason Creek since 2015. And I just want to talk to you. One of the biggest questions that we get as teachers is, how can I join my child's Google Classroom? Unfortunately, you can't. But there are some tools you can use to see what all is being posted in Google Classroom and how it's being used. The first thing you need to do is ask one of your child's teachers for a guardian summary. If just as soon as you are invited to one Google Classroom, you're invited to all Google Classrooms that your child is a part of. As a guardian summary, you say, hey, teacher, Miss So-and-so, Miss Heineman, I would love to get guardian summaries for my child's Google Classroom. And I would send you an invitation to the email address. At that point, you're going to get an email that looks very much like what you see right there. You need to accept, saying that, yes, you're going to accept for your child. The child's name is there. I blurred over my demonstration one. But yes, you would accept to get summaries for that. So you can go to the next slide. When you accept, you're going to get a chance to set the settings for your guardian summary. Do you want to get a summary every single day? Or would you like to get an email on a weekly basis as to what all has taken place? You can also set the time zone as well. That might be important for when you get those summaries. I like to, with my own children, get them on Friday afternoons at 5 o'clock. So it's just a good week. But if you're set to the wrong time zone, it may cut off too soon. So go ahead and switch to that next slide. Again, that frequency and that time zone is there. You need to set it for Eastern Standard Time. Now, the other thing that you can do, and this I would really recommend more so than the guardian summaries because this is more useful, tell your child to log in for you and look at what they're doing with your child. So when you log in as your child's Google Classroom with them, you're going to see a variety of things. Now, throughout the years, Google Classroom continues to update what all is available. But I just want to point out a few things to you. In the circle labeled number 1, there are 3 different views. You have the classroom stream where announcements are made by the teacher. You have a classwork tab, and then you have people. And then over on the circle labeled number 2, if your teacher were to enable a Google Meet, that video camera there would be an easy way to access it. There's a calendar for your Google Classroom where you can see assignment due dates that are already posted, and a drive where all documents for that particular Google Classroom can be found and located as well. If you look at circle number 3, anything that is due within that week is going to say upcoming and what view, and you can click on an assignment directly from that viewpoint. Finally, number 4, these are our announcements, and each teacher is going to use this in different ways depending on their comfort level and how they decide to do it. For myself, I place a daily agenda, everything that we do every day. And I know several teachers do this as well. So if your child is ever absent from school, your teacher may say, you need to go to Google Classroom to get your makeup work. And that's where it's going to be posted. All right, let's go to the next slide. When you click on the classwork tab, you're going to see a list of assignments. If it's a missing assignment, something that they have not completed in Google Classroom, look at that circle number 1. You're going to see a red missing. I do want to give you a bit of a caution though. If this is an assignment that the child has done on paper in the classroom, it may still say missing even if they've turned it in, because they did it on paper and they handed it directly to the teacher. Unless they were to mark the assignment as done in Google Classroom, which only the child can do that, then it would still say missing. This is why I want you to make sure that you're really on Infinite Campus Parent Portal. That's where you really need to find out what assignments your child actually has missing. In any case, it might give you a summary right here where you can see it, but you might not be able to see all the information. So click the circle number 2 where it says View Instructions, and you can go to the next slide. Once you open up into the assignment, you're going to see the directions to the assignment. You're going to see any supporting materials. The child's document, if there is one, is going to be under the circle number 1, and it's going to be labeled Your Work for Your Child. If it's a Google Doc or a Google Slide or whatever it is and that may be posted there, you would need to open it and look at it. We have found in the past that many students say, look, Mom, I turned it in. And if you actually were to open the document, it's blank and they haven't done it at all. So it's just a way to keep up with your child to say, hey, let's look at the work that you did. Can you tell me about it? Tell me how you've figured out to write this down or to answer this question this way. That button also that's blue that says turn in, that's super important. The teacher will not see the work unless it is turned in. If they have a question about their assignment, that section circle number 2, private comments, they can write a message directly to their teacher on that assignment, and it will be sent automatically to the teacher in an email where they'll be able to read it and respond directly there as well. The add or create button, sometimes there is no work there, and the instructions may say that your child needs to create a presentation. Well, the teacher can't see it unless your child attaches it. So when you add or create, you can either create a new Google Doc, Google Slide, whatever it is, or if the document's already created, they can go to their Google Drive and open and attach it there. If they've created something, say in Canva or in Cami or something else, they can add a link to that particular assignment also. So all of those are really helpful to have your child actually turn in digitally the assignment that they need. Okay, next slide. Another useful feature on the classwork tab is the view your work that is circled in red. When you click that slide right there, that link right there, you can see everything the child has ever been assigned and ever done. And the number 2 will tell you if it's assigned, if it's missing, and if it's been returned, it should have a grade associated with it. Again, these grades go into Infinite Campus, and that is a great segue for Ms. Phillips.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to talk about the Infinite Campus, the parent portal. There is a lot of useful information you'll get from the parent portal. So there are 2. Your student has a student portal that they can access through their own portal login. Also, you can create an account. You can download the app. And again, we'll share this so that you can have access to it, and you can have a parent portal. You'll create your username and password, and then you'll need the student information as well for that. Okay. So this tells you what you need. You're going to need your student's date of birth and the last 4 digits of their social security number to get started. And then you'll get an activation key, and you'll be able to create your username and password to log in. I have not had to continually log in. Once I have been logged in as a parent, it has kept me logged in. So that has been nice. That's been a nice feature. So here are just a few of the things that are wonderful. First of all, you can see their grades. Depending on how you set up your notifications, you can get a notification every time a grade is entered for your student. So this will be just like receiving a text almost. So there's grades, there's attendance. When your student is marked absent or tardy, you'll get a notification. You can see their schedule. So when the next 9 weeks is coming up, you'll be able to see your student's new schedule if that were to change. Any documents that may be uploaded there. which could be, I believe, like Georgia Milestones results end up there at the end of the year or when they are released. And then more. Under that more, there's some verification things such as the census verification at the beginning of the year that they typically ask. So we do have an Infinite Campus parent handout that we will share, and then navigation tips. I just encourage you to download it and just play around with it and explore. Like I said, it has a lot of useful information that you can use as a parent. I know I get weekly, if not daily, updates for my daughter and her grades as they are entered, so that we can have those conversations as they come along. So it's a great tool. All right, Miss Daniel for Remind.
Hi. Good evening, everyone.
Hold on one second. I just wanted to emphasize one thing that I get a lot of questions about as far as Infinite Campus and grades. So I ask teachers not to leave a grade book empty. So like when they're putting assignments in, they should not leave a grade box, if you will, empty. So they should either be putting a numeric grade, they should be putting an X if it was exempt, or an M if it's missing. And so I get a lot of parents asking, well, you know, they had an excuse absent, so they should still be able to turn it in, but the teacher put an M in it. And I ask teachers to do that because if they don't put anything, it doesn't count as anything. And so we want to make sure the student knows they still need to turn in that assignment and it's marked M to remind them that it's still missing. So if you ever see that, that is why the teachers do it. And so that's a big question. So sorry, Miss Daniel, I didn't want to cut you off.
That's okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Miss Daniel. I'm the 6th grade assistant principal. Welcome to Mason Creek Middle School, everyone. We know how important it is for you all to communicate with teachers, to know what the teachers are doing and what assignments they're giving students, just anything that you guys might want to know. So we have Remind, and it is a parent-teacher communication, and it's really at your fingertips. Remind, it's a free app. It allows seamless communication between student, teacher, or parent and teacher through your cell phone. It's an easy way that's safe and secure when you need to reach out to ask questions about what's happening with your students. You just simply download the app on your phone or wherever it is that best suits you and set up your free account. Once you set up the account, you need to get the class code. And once you get the class code, you can link to or join your student's class with the class code that's provided by the teachers of each particular class that they have. Remind only works with cell phones and acts as a text messaging service with teachers. Both parent and student should sign up for Remind. No phones, no worry. Simply set your notifications and Reminds app to settings to send a text message to the parent phone number and an additional notification to student's email address. Be sure to click the bell icon to turn on that specific notification. You can send direct messages to the teacher in Remind or just respond to an announcement as it is sent only to teacher and not the whole group. If you need to reach out at any time, select the class on the left, then click the People tab at the top of the class and click the teacher's name. It opens pop-up allowing you to send a direct message. Where to start off if you have any questions regarding the classroom? Well, you're going to email or Remind the best, or why is email or Remind the best? How to find email, and this information, again, you can get from your teachers if you need to, and that is a little link there, but the teachers will probably be best to give you this particular information.
And remember, the reason why we are saying emailing or Remind messaging, teachers do all have phones in their classrooms, but they do not ring during the day. And so teachers are going to be more likely to look at their email or their Remind messages quicker than they are going to listen to a voicemail left. So the easier method is to send either an email, and all of our website or all of our teachers are on our website. So if you're not sure what their email is, you can see Ms. Dobbs' name is right here. You can easily go to the staff directory and find their email address.
If I can interject really quickly too, in Infinite Campus, if you click on the class details, their email address will be listed right next to your child's class also.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Owens, and I'm the assistant principal over 8th grade. So what I'm going to talk about today is a little bit about the chain of command. That's basically
7th grade.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You're 7th grade.
7th grade.
You
Oh,
said
please
8th
forgive me.
grade.
7th grade. I'm trying to take Miss Phillips' job. Please forgive me. All right. So I'm basically going to tell you where to start if you have an issue with anything within inside of the classroom. The first level is always the teacher, because the teacher is going to have a little bit more information or insight of what's going on. And then if you don't get that resolved to the best of your satisfaction, then you'll reach out to the grade level assistant principal. And to reiterate, that is Miss Kim Daniel. She's over 6th grade. She's over 6th grade when they go to Connections. She's over instructional intervention, and she's over buses. And she works well with the transportation system. And again, my name is Michael Owens. I'm over 7th grade. I'm over scheduling, car riders, and some of the Connections teachers, especially when the 7th graders go to Connections. And Miss Jennifer Phillips, she's special education, field trips, fundraisers, and she's 8th grade as well. And then if you still don't get it resolved, then you may reach out to our principal, Miss Dr. Tiffany Weaver. And then if you're still not happy with the results, then you'll reach out to district office. But please try to go through those chain of command first before going to district office, because most likely they're just going to refer you back to Dr. Weaver, especially if you haven't reached out to her first. All right, if you had any other concerns, you can reach out to our front office personnel. To give you some names and their titles, we have Miss Shamika Benson. She is our office bookkeeper. Miss Jessica Day, she's over attendance. Miss Dillett, she speaks Spanish, and she's over our records department. And Miss Brandy Skinner, she is our health monitor. We also have 2 phenomenal counselors, Miss LaRosa Johnson and Dr. Kaneen. They split the alphabet based on the school. For example, we have Ada K, based on their last names. That'll be Miss Johnson, and Dr. Kaneen have L through Z. And the reason why we do it like this is so that students can follow their counselors throughout the years. So if you're a 6th grader, you'll have the same counselor for 7th and 8th grade. But it is okay if you are more comfortable with one versus the other, even if your last name is different. We have a platform that allows online referrals, and that's you as a parent can do that, or your student can reach out for help as well. And last but not least, we have our media center and technology gurus. That is Miss Jennifer Baker. She is a media specialist. She also works a lot on our Facebook page and community engagement. And Miss Hope Carnes, she is also our media clerk.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Owens. So one of the things that I want to make sure that parents, and hopefully you're joining us because you saw the announcement about the meeting on one of the ways that I send out messages. So every single Friday, I will send out what I call a Wolf Weekly. I will send it out in a variety of ways. And so, yes, you might get all 3, and I apologize, but some people only get a text message, or they only get an email, or they only get a remind. So I send it all 3 ways. So I, again, apologize if I'm bombarding you on Friday afternoon, but it's really important that every parent receives this. It contains a lot of information. Like tomorrow's newsletter, it's going to have a club list of all of the clubs that we have for students right now. It's going to have our athletic schedules and any events that we have for our athletic programs, as far as tryouts, signups for tryouts, tryout dates, all of that. I also include assessment dates. We do have quite a few assessments that we give at school that are set days. And so it's important for students to come on those days. So I send those out along with, I do try to talk about what the assessment is and how you can help your student with those assessments. We do a lot of student recognitions as well in this newsletter. And then just really anything that we have upcoming or that I feel like parents may need to know at the time. Anytime that we have one of these type meetings, I do record it. I know that you guys have really busy schedules, and it's sometimes easier to watch the recording afterwards. So the newsletter will also include all of the virtual workshops that we offer throughout the year. So again, it is going to come in a variety of ways. I'm sure that you can turn your notifications off of one of them, just don't turn them all off. Okay. And so again, this meeting, these programs that we went through are the programs that we get the most questions about, but we know that you guys might have some questions regarding communication or really anything. This is the first opportunity that you have with all 3 assistant principals and myself. So if you have questions, you definitely can raise your hand. I've seen some people do that, and you guys can either unmute or you can put it in the chat. But we definitely would love to answer any questions that you have. So I see we have one question, one raised hand so far. You can unmute.
Okay, hello. First
Hi.
and foremost, I'm so excited that my daughter is a Mason Creek student. We love Mason Creek. But
Thank
now,
you.
as a 6th grade student, if you guys could just talk to me about the lockers. Do I need to provide a lock for the lockers? What is the procedure? Because I know she's not able to bring a book bag after the 15th. So can y'all talk a little bit about that? And is somebody going to help her, especially if she's never used a lock, or do I need to help her with that? Just kind of give me
No,
what the
so
directive
it's
is.
actually a lot of fun. 6th graders, none of them have ever used a locker. So
Okay.
the next few weeks will be a lot of practicing of the lockers. So Ms. Danielle,
Awesome.
do you want to talk about what the 6th grade lockers look like?
Yes, so each team has a specific time that they allow their students to go to the lockers. You don't have to give your student a lock for the lockers. They have combinations that are already given out. Mr. Owens has already provided each team with the locker code, locker combinations, and the students will have assigned lockers. So as a matter of fact, one of the 6th grade teams tomorrow, they're going to spend about maybe 10 minutes right before they transition to connections, going over, helping the students to learn how to open the locker. They may have a sign that says right 42, left 37 or something like that. So they will have ample opportunities to figure it out. We've actually had some of the teachers take the students out even before we started assigning lockers so that they can get some, practice. So when the lockers are assigned to them, they have more time to practice doing it. So no, you don't have to do it. You can if you'd like to. And we actually had a meeting today where we have some combination locks that we're going to give some of the students so that they can practice before they get to actually have to open their actual locker. Does that answer your question?
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Of course, of course.
I placed a helpful video in the chat. You're welcome to open that up on your own and watch that with your child. As a teacher, one of the biggest things that I still even see 8th graders doing is they don't turn it the right direction. They don't understand clockwise versus counterclockwise. So that's a good discussion to go ahead and have with your child.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you again.
Thank you and welcome.
Bathroom policy. So that's a great question. I don't know if you have a specific grade level. So in the next couple weeks, one of the things that I will add to the newsletter is the bathroom schedule. So we do a lot of things based on what team your student is on and what grade, because if you did not know, every grade has a different bell schedule. So they are moving around the building at different times. So we don't have set transition times or bathroom times for the whole school. So they're very specific, and each team has their own bathroom. And so there are a lot of different times they can go. For example, a 6th grade student may be able to go from 8:40 to 9, then again at 10:15 in between classes. All students can also go during lunch for the entire, it's about 30 minutes that they're in the lunchroom, so they can go at that time. They have set times. So in between each class, they either can go to the bathroom or they can go to their locker. And so I'm going to put that together and send that out. Okay. I got you, Miss Missy. So they do have set times. And so I'll put that schedule together and have that in the newsletter so you kind of get an idea of when your student can go to the bathroom. Okay. Ms. Daniel, I didn't know if you wanted to add anything about 6th grade specifically about bathrooms.
I was just going to say, when she said there isn't a set time, that may be when they're talking about they're using the electronic passes to go, but they still will have a designated time that they can go, but they just probably have a pass that they can go in between the time that Dr. Weaver just mentioned, if that helps.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Daniel. So we do, in case you didn't know, we have an electronic pass system. So we don't have hall passes that they physically have to carry. They have an electronic method of requesting a pass through their class link, which is where they log into all of their apps. And essentially that allows us to limit the amount of people that go to the bathroom. So there's not like 10 kids out from 10 different classes. And so as long as there's not too many students in a bathroom, it will grant them a pass. Most teachers do have a limited amount that they can use during class time because they are given time during transitions and lunch and when they go to connections and so on. So that could have been your question too, but I'll send out the schedule times. Yeah, so, and again, it depends on the team, but I do think most people have set 3 passes in a 9 weeks. So that would be you requesting a pass. And let's say your first period is Ms. Hyman for social studies, you would have 3 passes during class time to go to the bathroom. And it would reset each 9 weeks, and it's for each class period. So your second period maybe is your math class. You would also have 3 passes at that time. Okay. I see one more question about computers. So at Mason Creek, we have computer carts. So every teacher has a cart in their classroom. And we do allow students to check out a Chromebook if they need one to work on something. And so there is a Chromebook agreement checkout that went home to you guys. So if you want them to have the ability to take a Chromebook, because some parents do not, you would just sign the Chromebook agreement, and then you would pay the $25 technology fee, and that would cover any kind of damage that occurred when they take it home. If you do not want to take the Chromebook, because again, a lot of parents have decided they don't want to be responsible for it, or they don't want to have to supervise computer use at home, then they don't take them home. But they do have a method. Every teacher does have a checkout system of computers when needed. I see a hand raised. I don't want to miss you, so if you want to unmute and ask your question. Is it Mr. Owens?
Okay. Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
It's good for this meeting. It's an opportunity to air our views and speak our mind. I already typed a message. I was asking why the students has to pay for the lockers. That's one question. Then my second question is, last year is about the band. My daughter is in band. Last year, the instrument she was using, we didn't pay for it. But this year, she was asking, she says she has been asked to pay $70, $75 or thereabout. So I asked, are you changing instrument? She said, no, it's the same one she used last year. Because when we came to school, we were told that we don't have to pay if it's owned by the school, that we don't have to pay for that. It's only if they are using the ones that are rented, we're meant to pay for the rentals, and or if we want to buy our own, we're free to buy our own. But now my question is, if she's still using the same one she used last year, why is she being asked to pay $75?
So let me answer the first question first. The lockers, they do cost $5. The reason why we charge is because each summer we have a company that comes in and services them and changes all of the combinations. So we don't have the same combinations each year, and they also repair any damaged ones. So we charge the amount that it costs to have them serviced. And then the second question, I'm going to refer you to Ms. Castaneda because I do not know the details of the cost of instruments. So if you want to drop your email in the chat, or I can get it at the end, I will have Miss Castaneda reach out to you and talk about the instrument fee. Okay.
Okay, thank you so very
Great.
much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And another question is about the water. The water they are drinking. I understand the Douglas County, they said there was a warning message sent across that they should stop drinking tap water for now. So the water the kids are drinking in school, is it safe? Is it being treated, or you want us to be giving them water from home?
We haven't received, I know that Douglas County, it was several weeks ago, there was a boil water, but we aren't in that area. We're on a different side of the county than that alert was for. But the water fountains that we have are actually water bottle stations, and it's coming through a filtered, refrigerated tap system. So it is totally safe. So they can refill their bottles as needed at any of those stations.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
My last question is about medication. When a child is having issue, maybe an urgent aid to be attended to the child, I was told, as a matter of fact, I got a call from school that my daughter wasn't feeling good, and they were asking if I'm bringing a medication. And I asked if the school does not have a nurse that works there and their medication to be given from the school. They said they cannot give medication, only the medication that the parent has to bring. And if the parent is bringing a medication, it has to be an unsealed one, newly bought. But if you're bringing the one that is already open, they will let you administer it to your kid. So if there is emergency and the parents can be reached, what will happen to the child?
Yeah, we're not gonna give medicine. So we don't purchase it either. So any medicine that we have on campus has been provided by the parent. And so in the event that a student needs medicine and we're unable to reach the parent, I mean, of course, we're going to call all of the emergency numbers. But if it's an emergency, we're going to go ahead and call 911. So we would have EMS respond at that time. Because while we do have a health monitor and she is a certified nursing assistant, so she is a CNA, we're not going to give medicine that the parent hasn't provided us to give. Okay, but I can call you tomorrow if you have more questions, because I know we have a lot more hands raised.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
I'm sorry, everyone, for
You're
dragging us
fine.
back. I'm sorry.
Thank
My
you.
apologies.
No, you're
All right.
fine.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Looks like Mark Owens, you got your hand raised.
Yes, excuse me. Good evening.
Hi.
Can you elaborate on the kids not having their book bags after the 15th, please?
Sure. So we use lockers, and there's a variety of reasons. We like students to have their backpacks and all their items put up. They are they take up a lot of space. So most classes have 25 to 28 students in them, and so we do like them out of the way. It also eliminates people taking stuff out of people's bags because they all have their own locker. It's also a safety measure as well. Some schools they don't have lockers, but so they use clear backpacks. But we've decided to use lockers instead since we have them available.
So for clarity, you are allowing the students to come to school with their backpacks. They just have to put them up before their first class, go to their lockers in between each class, and then they'll be able to bring home whatever books or items that they need to in a book bag when they get on the bus or go home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So they bring them, but again, like you said, they put them up as soon as they arrive.
Understood. And it is allowed for them to have their own water bottles so they can fill up at the water stations, as you said.
Yes, correct. Now I do know, I will tell you that some, especially our science classrooms, the teachers have like a little table outside that they leave the water bottles at instead of bringing them in, because those classrooms have tile floors. And so it gets really slippery if there's a spill. But most teachers, I would say 80% of the teachers just have water bottles in the classroom. But yes, they can bring their own.
Understood.
If I can make, as a teacher in there, we really need those water bottles to be non-spillable, to be sealable, not the Stanley cups with straws. Because as soon as those knock over once, and they knock over a lot, it spills everywhere. And so just make sure that they, can seal close.
Understood. Thank you.
And they also don't go to their lockers. I think, Mr. Owens, you were asking, do they go to their lockers each time they change class? Was that something you asked?
Yes, ma'am.
They don't go to their lockers each time they change classes. No, they all have specific times that they can go to their lockers based on each team.
So they're walking around, with, I guess, we'll say for the sake of this conversation, 2 to 3 class worth of stuff with them, whether it be textbooks, folders, or whatever.
Nobody has textbooks. Yeah.
We don't have textbooks, but yes, that is correct. Whatever they have, their pencils or school supplies, or maybe their books or things like that, composition books or whatever the class requires. Yes, that's correct, until they have their locker opportunity for their locker break.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, looks like Miss Mayfield.
Hi, sorry, I was just trying to figure out how to. I don't usually use this app. Anyway, I don't even know how to put my hand down. I'll figure that out later. But anyway, I just wanted to circle back on the bathroom question. So, because I don't feel like I've fully got clarity on that. So, my daughter, 6th grade. So, I don't know if all these parents are 6th graders, but I think there's some confusion because I'm just trying to understand when she's having opportunities to actually use the bathroom. It sounds like early in the school day, maybe like first or second period. And then she's telling me she's not getting to go again until essentially she goes to volleyball practice at the end of school. So she wasn't sure, like, even at lunchtime, they have these passes, and she's like, is this an emergency pass or not? Like, there's a number of passes there. And she's like, I don't want to, because she's already used 2 of those passes. She was thinking the 3 per term was for in totality and not even at the class level. So I just feel like there's some clarity for myself, but also for the students. I'm not sure. I mean, these are like basic things, right? But it seems like there's an opportunity to like make it clear to the kids when they're allowed to use the bathroom, to make sure that they don't have any issues. And I just wanted to make sure that she's getting enough opportunity, because going at 10 in the morning and not until 4 o'clock in the afternoon does not seem like enough opportunities to go to the bathroom. Right. So, and just one more thing quickly, just the other thing is just if there's like set times that the teachers are supposed to allow them to go. She wasn't sure if that's supposed to be linked up with when they go to their lockers, but they're not going to their lockers yet. So it seems like that wasn't an opportunity. And I think maybe a teacher here or there forgot to give them their time to go. So like, how can that all be clarified essentially, to make sure that she's clear, I'm clear, and that, there's enough time to be able to go to the restroom.
Yeah, I'm going to put together that schedule. I'll actually start it tomorrow. That way you guys know and I know exactly when they can go to the bathroom. But one thing Miss Daniel's going to do, especially for 6th grade students, she's going to have class meetings. And so it sounds like they need some clarification. I don't know how they do it in 5th grade. They probably do whole class bathroom, walk down the hall together.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it is very different because they have 4 minutes in between each class, and that's the time that students should be using the bathroom during class change. And so like Ms. Daniel mentioned, they don't go to their locker every time. So it's going to look a little different. They probably are thinking like, I'm going to go to my locker at 10:15, but really at 10:15, they should be going to the bathroom if they need to. So there should be a lot of times that they should be able to go to the bathroom. So I'll start the schedule tomorrow. And if I can get the teachers, I don't want to ask the teachers like, hey, do it today, but I'll try. So I can put it on the newsletter tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure. All right. Just looking at the chat as well. If you've got your hand raised, you can unmute. Ms. Robinson.
Hi, I just wanted to ask about if there was like a cutoff time for the car riders line in the morning. And I also wanted to commend you guys because when the kids were coming when they were at the elementary school, I was like, oh my gosh, that line for the middle school is a monster. But actually being in it, it's actually great the way it's structured. And it makes perfect sense to me. I don't know how other parents feel about it, but coming in new to the middle school family, I think it's designed perfectly. But I did want to ask about cutoff time, if there is so I mean obviously school starts at 9, right? But like the or beginning time, how early or how late is it for the cutoff line? Is there I'm sure there's a time and a point where we have to eventually maybe walk the students in if we're running late in the morning or what have you.
Yeah, as long as the doors open, Mr. Owens is normally the one out there. So they start walking in at like 8:59. And then the door will shut at 9. But even then, we believe that middle schoolers are old enough to walk in the door. So they can actually, unless you're checking them in because they were like at the doctor or something, then you would want to come in and bring that excuse note. But we actually do allow students to ring the doorbell and come in themselves.
All right, great. Thank you.
But thank you. The car airline is a beast. But right now we see it getting better every day. At beginning of the year, parents don't usually use buses as much because they're a little inconsistent. So we have a lot more car riders right now, but every day it's gotten a little faster. So once the sixth graders especially are used to the process, and then we have more kids riding the bus, it will get even faster. So thank you for your patience.
Yeah, it seems to be running well. I mean, even with the higher number of students being car riders, so I don't have any problems with it. It seems to be running great for us.
Thank
Oh,
you.
okay, I have a question. One more quick question. All right. I just need to understand your policy for PE. And let me explain the situation. My daughter, you know, is very uncomfortable with when they have to change, so she was wondering why is it that students can't use the stall to change. So can you just kind of elaborate on
Mhm.
why, if a student is would prefer to use the stall, if she's comfortable doing that instead of just being in an open space, changing into her
Mhm.
PE required outfits, why can't the
Yeah.
stall be used?
So our PE classes each have about 40 students in them, and particularly in sixth grade, there are 3 PE classes. So that's 120 students, if I did my math right.
Okay.
So there's so many students that need to change. There's just not enough time. I mean, PE is only 45 minutes, so there's just not enough time to have students go in the stall, but it happens so seamlessly. They are in, the locker room. They're facing away from each other. There's the PE, a female and a male PE person, adult in there with them, but they change like within 30 seconds to a minute. It's so fast. It feels very strange, but I would say if your child continues to be uncomfortable about it, a lot of kids wear their PE clothes to school and then they don't even have to change.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's an option too. Yeah.
Okay.
A
All
lot
right.
do
Thank
that.
you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
You're welcome. And if you don't have any questions, you definitely don't have to stay on with us, but we definitely want to answer all the questions that you guys have. So keep them coming. Miss Mincy, I see, is that your hand raised?
Yes. Hi, Dr. Weaver. So a few questions. With girls for purses. Last year, my daughter had a purse, her backpack, and I don't know about other parents, but I know, I guess I call them late bloomers now. My girls, they're just now starting their cycles, being in middle school. And so I have them carry certain items with their feminine products in their purses. And I think one of the teachers said this year it had to be like within a 4x6 frame, that small. So
Mhm.
she can't carry, well, that's the first one. She can't carry her regular purse that she carried last year to carry her items, her feminine items.
Yeah, so it's a 4x6 purse if they want to carry a purse. But what I'll say is if she needs something out of her locker, she can grab it and go to the bathroom. So if she has a larger purse that she prefers versus that smaller size, because the smaller size you can take into the classroom.
Okay.
And so if she's got a bigger purse, she can just put that in her locker and then grab it on the way to the bathroom and then put it back. So
Okay.
it's not that she can't have a bigger purse. She would just have to put it in
Leave
her
it in her
locker.
locker. Okay.
Yeah.
The second question is with the youngest one who just came for 6th grade this year. She has her she has her IEP. So with her classes being stretched across the 2 hallways, back and forth, and her going to the restroom, how is that going to work for the students that have IEP that have to be back and forth? And 4 minutes is kind of short to go from downstairs to upstairs and use the restroom within that time frame. So how are you guys going to kind of work with that? And then the second question, third question would be with the car rider. Can you please send something out to parents so they know to pull all the way up in the evening and in the morning? I know, for new parents, so that we're not sitting in the street and they're not backed up to the gas station trying to get into the school.
Man, I feel like I put it in every newsletter. I don't know if they
I
tired
mean,
of
I guess if
car
it's
rider
like,
map.
okay, yeah, like, okay, parents, because I know Officer White is parked out front. So if
Yeah.
they know, okay, parents, please pull all the way down to the first cone when you're coming to park to pick up, 4-car rider. So that way he's not having to come down and now everybody's having to move. And then I feel like in the mornings, I leave before 8:30. I'm sitting in car rider. I don't get to the front of the school until like 8:45. So then they barely have 15 minutes. They're going to miss breakfast to get to class because we're waiting in car rider in the morning. So are y'all going to try to, I guess, give it like a grace period or something in the
Well,
morning?
like I said, every day, like I would say, even starting today, by 8:50, we didn't have a line anymore. And the cafeteria serves breakfast up until 9 o'clock. And really, it serves breakfast until the last bus arrives. So don't worry about them missing breakfast; they'll be fine. But like I said, the car air line's going to speed up faster and faster. Less people will be using it, and they'll be relying on their buses. So I promise the line. I don't even think last year we had to circle the back
No,
of
we
the
didn't.
building like we're doing. Yeah,
No,
so
we
it's
didn't.
gonna get better. I promise, Miss Missy. And then as far as the bathroom, I know we do have some students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade that are cross team for whatever reason. They have strange combinations of courses
Yeah.
that they need. So like we had to figure out when they come to lunch. So we'll figure out, Miss Phillips and I will sit down and look at where they're transitioning to make sure that the teacher they're going to knows like they didn't go to the bathroom yet. So we'll
Yeah,
figure that out.
that's what she said the second day. The wrong teacher took them to lunch. So they
Yes,
got
we figured that
confused.
out quick. So we'll figure out the bathroom too for her. For
Okay.
them. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I see Mr. Owens has been answering questions in the chat as well. Is there any that we've missed? Feel free to unmute and ask if you want. Somebody asked about how long do teachers take to respond to an email. I asked teachers to respond within 24 hours. So you should get a response back. I also see a question about will there be an art club and a gaming club? There are both of those. And tomorrow in your parent newsletter, there's going to be a list of all of the clubs and when, what day they'll be on and what time. Just working my way back through. Yes, thank you, Miss Mincy. If you want to see the menu, the School Cafe app is very user-friendly. That's also how you can add funds for your student, but it does have the menu for breakfast and lunch. All right, well, I don't see any other questions, but we're going to stay on as long as y'all are here. But if you don't have any questions, you can definitely feel free to log off. And we will, Miss Mincy, thank you for asking. I'm going to try to pull dates that will be beneficial for parents, because when we had it last year, it was on a Friday, which I know Friday is not good because of FCA. So I'm going to try to send some potential dates. So what we tried to do last year is offer times that you could have some coffee, and we had bagels too. And you can come in before school when you're dropping your student off, and just chat with me and the APs in person. We do a lot of these virtually because it's just easy to log on in the car or at the ball field or watch the recording, but we will have some in-person events. So thank you, Miss Mincy, for reminding me. All right, well, I'm going to stop recording, but again, we're going to stay on while y'all are here.